Captain's log, stardate 60062.3. The Achilles, after spending the last several days dealing with the government of Pinnacle, with the events of the Rogue Tal Shiar and the actions of Inspector Krista Sedano, we have been relieved by the U.S.S. Wildfire to return back to Narendra Station. Given that the mission has been designated a Pyrrhic success, considering the escape of a Romulan vessel, the devastation of a settlement, and the rapidly evolving situation, we do have some things going in our favour. The rescue of the Shangri-La and how the crew has handled themselves. The crew will be given a bit of time before we head off back out into the expanse on missions, and all data regarding our previous actions are to be classified until further notice. End log.
And this is a 2-threat game as we look upon Narendra Station with Achilles docked within the safety of Starbase 364A, also known as Narendra Station. I'm missing somebody here. Throw it over here. So the ship's been pulled in, and you are basically on standby. You're not really on leave per se, but you're not immediately being sent out the moment you land. So you do have some time to orient yourselves, get yourself off the ship for a bit, that sort of thing. So, whom do we look to first? Where does the camera go? Another way to say it, who wishes to go first?
Sure, I'll take lead here. Throw myself onto the pyres.
So you are aboard. Where are you at the moment?
I think I'm aboard ship, probably in my quarters.
So you're aboard the Achilles as it's docked up and being looked over and checked.
Yeah. I
Outside your office window, you can see the occasional vessel zooming by, small craft moving within the confines of the dock.
My previous position as security officer has me wary still towards this new Narendra station, especially given the security they feel is necessary around whatever happened to the Achilles previously. What problems we might be stepping into and such without our knowledge.
I will highlight to you that the logs that are in Shackleton logs, all of them, as of current, are updated to you. So,
All right.
anything that's happened there, because we're past all their times right now, so all of those have happened. The Adventures of the Avalon, as well as the Gungnir, have come and gone. To a degree, they're still ongoing. As there's the inner group, which is you guys, the Rimward group, which is the Gungnir, the Coreward group, which is the Avalon, and a sort of roaming group under the KT Bowman. So a lot of reorganizing has happened. And Achilles is considered as the tactical superior ship, and senior-most captain is the lead of the interior group.
All right.
The Klingon detachment is those of House of Gitta are not yet present. Seems to be that there is an ongoing issue within the Empire, which Klingon intelligence is very slowly letting Starfleet in on, which is typical.
Right. All right. Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all.
Unrelated, I swear.
Cool. So I think that Thralic has been kind of more than perhaps is needed going over the current Achilles logs, trying to find anything that may have been tampered with or otherwise would indicate like malice.
Reason plus security, difficulty of 2, assisted by computers plus security.
Focus in observation.
I'll take it.
Because I've mentioned kind of how long I'm doing this, I feel like this actually might cut against me here. But relentless? It depends if there's anything I'm looking for or not, basically. I'm on to anything.
I'll actually say relentless will give you a complication increase.
All right. Just gonna roll 2 here. All right. That was an 18.
Bloody close.
Second time.
Yeah, you look over the logs and you've had some time to kind of comb between the investigation at Pinnacle and the flight back to Narendra, and then now having docked. You relentlessly go through it and find that your database has been copied, which is normal for an investigation of a ship, especially one that's been considered suspect in some regard. But that's it. They've copied a lot of information. They updated your codes to ones that they know. But nothing else that stands out as like malicious coding or anything like that. Nothing Starfleet intelligence or Starfleet security related above and beyond what Ryloff would have put in or what you and Penn would have put in.
Got it. I think probably after working on that for a while, Thralic is going to head to the station and try to find the Midnight Watch chapter house.
Be advised, current animal focus is strategy and tactics.
Damn it, I already have that one.
Doubled focus. Ta-da.
Oh, if it gets a double focus, does that turn it from a 2 to a 3?
God, no.
Yeah.
No.
See, that'd be amazing.
That'd be kind of a neat. It'd be kind of cool if there was a talent that like did something like that kind of synergy.
If you roll a 1 and you have a focus already, you gain an extra success or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Morpheus, hire me. I know so much about game design.
It's kind of like having high vicious ratings, where it's just like,
Why is it not posting the thing I want?
I don't know.
All right. So Thralic is heading into station, the Midnight Watch chapter house that's here. If there is one here, it's an interstation. There likely is one here, or at least
I was in contact with them previously.
Yeah.
So unless it's been cleared off in the last couple weeks.
No. The camera's going to swing around to Ven.
Yay.
New scene, but doesn't matter. You're at 0 anyway. So where is the
Presumably
ensign?
We're allowed to go on station, right?
Yeah, you're just on standby. You just can't leave the system because you need to be able to rush back to your ship.
I think Ven is going to try and relax for the first time in a while because, ever since everything happened, he's been more or less constantly on the move. Getting debriefed on the weird temporal nonsense, immediately going back to the Achilles, getting on this mission, like, getting kidnapped, almost getting killed again. And this is the first time he's had to, like, decompress.
So you're saying it's been a long road? Sorry, I had to do it for somebody.
Oh! Not you too! Not you too!
The author isn't here.
Yeah, I had to do it for Author. Don't want him to miss out. I didn't want you to miss out on it. Feel incomplete. Now, scroll up, computer. Thank you. So what are you going to do to relax? Or attempt to relax, better way to put it.
Mm-hmm. He's probably gonna go to one of, like, the lounges, because, like, I assume that on Narendra they have lounges that are larger than we have on the Achilles.
Oh yeah, this place is massive.
How dare.
It's just the nature of the Achilles being a ship that isn't a multi-purpose, like, we don't have big lounges.
Someone wants to be demoted.
Yeah,
there's a variety of lounges you could find from across the Federation. Some a Klingon one or two, a Cardassian one of all things.
I was gonna say, as interesting as a Klingon lounge would be right now, that's not quite the kind of excitement Ben needs right now.
So what kind of lounge does he seek out?
Give me a second. I have to think that. I gotta come up with that. Like, what kind of... You said that there are a few different ones.
There's a
on
wide
station?
variety. Yeah.
Wide variety. Okay.
Easy, just go to a Betazoid lounge.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, if there's something like that on station somewhere where I could meet other, like, Betazoids, that'd be kind of neat. Especially because Draben hasn't been around, and he was the only one who I could talk to about Betazoid things on the ship. So
you don't find one that's like Betazoid in particular, but you do find one that is frequented a lot by Betazoids. There's this sort of pan alpha quadrant establishments where that seems to be that has a lot of foods that the Betazoids would generally enjoy. Other species come here too, but Betazoids just kind of we'll eat there because it's the kind of food we like.
Yeah,
kind of tastes like home, even though it's not being cooked by
higher.
a Betazoid person or run by a Betazoid person. It's like, yeah, but it's really good. The food's very close to what we would eat.
Yeah, that tracks. These days, actually get there and... But yeah, Ben's just gonna relax.
Give me fitness plus medicine, difficulty of 3 or difficulty of 5. As you are taking some time to work through, to kind of relax and kind of maybe this relaxation will give your brain some time to unwind the traumas you've suffered.
Fitness medicine. Oh, gross. Okay. Take 3 threat.
Certainly.
Go. Nope. Oh well.
It is relaxing, but you find that your thoughts kind of get interrupted frequently by, one would say intrusively, by the various times you've come into close quarter combat, specifically melee combat, and you kind of find yourself flinching at people getting a little too close to you because especially people who are from societies where weapons are allowed to be worn on their hips. The station does have laws about not having you're not allowed to walk around the battle on your. Well, the Klingons are. So the Klingon officers who walk about sometimes they are fully armed because this is a joint station. So you have a few feelings, and on top of that, you find yourself evading anyone who higher rank than you. You're not even entirely conscious of it. You just kind of do it. Which does make finding a table a little more difficult, but hey, there's plenty of people on a station like this. You eventually find somewhere to go, and you're able to kind of have some food, have something to drink, and you do your level best to relax. And the camera swings around to Pend. New scene. We're at the 0 anyway.
Yeah, hello?
What is Captain Pend up to?
Captain Penn would probably have requested / probably been ordered to meet with the Vice Admiral, Rear Admiral, Strategic, just to get a lay of the land and so they can judge Penn in person.
All right. You learn rather that the Vice Admiral has been selected and vetted by the Federation Council, but they're still going through some of the bureaucracy back on Earth. So they're not going to be here for a little bit yet, but there is one assigned here now. But for now, the various rear admirals can kind of cover, because there's no theater-wide crisis yet that requires a vice admiral say so. And in a pinch, there is another vice admiral kind of in the same beta quadrant as you guys. They're just focused on the Klingon Romulan frontiers rather than the Shackleton frontier.
Do we have an idea, or do we know who was selected?
You could look into that if you really wanted to.
I mean, I'm not.
It's known, but it's not. It's not. They haven't. There's going to be a point where they introduce themselves to the various ships. But you're kind of you've been made aware of them. The people who know for sure would be the rear admirals, because they would have been told who their superior officer was.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not desperate to look up. It's just one of those nice information, but not desperate.
Yeah. Yeah, you're able to find them in the. Okay, that's who that is. You don't know the guy personally. The person. You'd have to look up their file to know more about them. But okay, the slot's filled now. It's not just a TBD marker there, which is never a comfortable feeling for officers to see your chain of command in question.
If there's someone so high up the chain.
You can tell that there is vast amounts of reorganization. You learned similar things that Thralic did as well. That there is this large reorganization effort of the 4 groups under the fleet. 5 groups counting Sugita's fleet. But a lot of the judgments you get, you do meet with a few the officer, ask you some questions about more questions about the Achilles, what your universe was like. How do you feel about this, that, or the other? And I won't make you test because you recognize the questions they're asking are very similar to the ones you would ask if you were ferreting out a mirror agent or you were ferreting out a Maquis sympathizer, that sort of thing. They're just testing the waters. But the fact that they're asking this, I hesitate to say openly, but
hi.
this, but lack of better word, openly, they're not too worried about you. You know, they're not. If they were really worried about you, they wouldn't be asking. They'd just be watching you, which is probably what they've been doing. It seems to be that last little touch up at the end. It also helps that the Klingon side of the Joint Command isn't really questioning you at all, which you know why, because the head of the Klingon Command for this region came with you, as it were. So they're from your universe, and they got a way less inspection from the High Council, supposedly. What's exactly happening to them is a little unclear. But beyond that, beyond the obvious to your veteran eyes, I will ask you for insight plus command, difficulty of 3, to get a nice, good feel for the Shackleton Theater at large.
Focus in strategy and tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also use my version of strategy and tactics because I don't need the admirals.
Fair enough.
I'll give you a threat.
1 threat.
Would you accept the trait of master strategist?
I would take it here, yeah.
I'll fish for the last one.
Gain inspiration, momentum. Oh, you brought it down by 1, right? So it goes up 2. So as I said, the logs that are written are known to you. But in the general, there is no large, other than a lot of the fleets is organized in this sort of wide 4-pronged group maneuver to cover as much territory as possible. The Klingon fleets, there are some ships out here that are vassal ships under Subgita. So they're not of Oda's personal fleet, as it were, but they're of other houses that swear fealty to him in the out of the Bamoth sector. There are a few ships out here, some enterprising and initiative-driven captains who are venturing forth into the Shackleton to try to find possible places to conquer or claim for the Empire. But it seems that the bulk of Klingons' attention is focused inward. They're focused mainly on the Empire. The Federation doesn't seem to be geared. The admirals seem to be gearing up for one big exploratory push. They're not really situated for war per se. So it's almost like they're not. They don't seem to be terribly focused, interfering directly in the Romulan Civil War. However, scuttlebutt among the other senior officers and the station and the Admiralty staff, you're able to learn that it seems that the interior group, not the interior group, the Coreward group under the Avalon is likely going to be doing some incidental investigation of the because by virtue of the fact that they are closer to them than the other groups will be. But no concerted effort to infiltrate the Empire or anything like that. It's more of a let's keep an eye out to see if the Romulans are doing anything in the Shackleton sort of idea. There isn't a whole lot of worry about the tripolity. It is an ongoing concern. It does come up in conversation from time to time, but it isn't, as you note, that it's not. It doesn't seem to be one of the directives of the at writ large of the Shackleton fleet operations. That said, the Shackleton fleet operation directives have not been determined as a whole, so it's a lot of getting your ducks in a row and making sure everything is ready to go en masse at something if needed. The other thing you would notice is some of the data that you brought with you is being considered by strategic operations. They are considering reinvestigating places you've been, like Vale, and maybe seeking out Alcara, perhaps. But maybe checking about the vaults you talked about to make sure they actually are gone, what's there instead. But it's a lot of theory crafting, a lot of strategy and planning. And actually, your appearance does help out some of them when they're like, oh, hey, what can you tell us about this? Yeah, we could look up the logs, but if you're here anyway, we'll chat you up, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I'd go over it with them. I'd probably also inform them in private about the Romulan situation, or possible situation.
Yeah, they mentioned that Starfleet intelligence and security are, to that matter. Exactly who's going to be mobilized? It's likely not going to be Shackleton. That's going to be focus on that. It's probably going to be the Seventh Fleet that's going to be working on that problem. But that said, they're still gonna intelligence is gonna keep their eyes open because if this timeline is gonna be anything like yours, it is entirely possible and very likely that both sides of the Romulan Empire have some designs for the Shackleton Expanse, whatever those may be, especially with the tripolity because of Star X's connections with the Republic through his wife and the senatorial family that she's related to.
Well, yeah, that and the sun issue. Yeah.
The room kind of gets a little quiet whenever you bring it up. But eventually, someone of like commander or captain rank eventually pipes up and says, you get the sense that they are aware they're already aware of what you have discovered, but for some reason they're not talking. They're not saying you shouldn't talk about it, but for some reason that's not coming up in the strategy planning all that often. Actually, at all. It only comes up when you bring it up.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting one to say for later.
Somewhere along the way, as your scene comes, an adjunct officer comes along and lets you know that Admiral Grennan wishes to speak with you.
Yeah, I'll finish up at the meeting and head along to see Admiral Grennan.
New scene as the camera swings around to Lieutenant Arlen.
Yes'm?
You where are you? What are you up to here at Narita Station? I'll note because you did come in a little. The station that's inside it. Right now, the crew is on standby orders, so just don't leave the system because the ship doesn't have current orders to do anything, but it will likely get orders probably sometime today. So you don't know how long you'd have.
Is there any repairs or retrofits happening on the Achilles?
I don't believe so. I'm gonna check the Achilles though. Beyond standard repairs, no outstanding breaches that needed checking. Minor come up for sure, because you're always doing maintenance on a ship that advanced.
Mhm. But nothing like particularly I would be required to oversee, unless I want to
Nothing
be
you
persnickety
would
about
personally,
it.
nothing you
Yeah.
personally would need to look into. But the only thing of
Um,
note is that Commander Throlic seems to be spent some of the day poring over the computer core. But XO of the ship doing that, especially the commander of the hoplites, that's not terribly unusual.
yeah,
It's
that's
unusual for your average officer in the fleet, but you know, the Achilles is a ship of a different color, as it were.
Yep.
Color is purple.
I wish. Well, actually, the inside is purple. Can't paint the hull.
Exactly.
As for like the wider fleet, is there any like interesting news coming from the rest of the Shackleton?
Anything that's in the logs is currently known. We're at
Okay.
a star date where all the logs that are currently written down are now accessible.
Okay, so I'm all caught up. I'm not sure if there's anything of interest to me. Although the Chet sound hilarious.
They're like
First
some
of
sort of like
all-
sentient
Yep. And they're so excited to see everything.
and steal whatever isn't nailed down. Because it's not stealing, it's exploring.
Exactly. Dear God, what have I done? What have I unleashed on the world?
British archaeology. Anyway,
Anyways, all right. So nothing like that.
I'm not upset by that comment.
That's good.
Do we have any news about the subspace relay network?
At present, as I was saying to Penn earlier, the vice admiral has been vetted and such. They haven't gotten to Narendra Station yet, so a lot of this, if there's any movement at all, it would be an initiative pushed by the rear admirals. The interior group hasn't done anything like that. A lot of the interior groups kind of been the other two ships in the interior group and the had been kind of waiting for the Achilles to be vetted before they went full on. So the Wildfire right now is at Pinnacle helping with that mission, and the other ship, if I could find it.
The Kuptana?
Oh yeah, the Kuptana is currently doing a run in the local sector, getting supplied up with a variety of goods so they can quickly support either the Wildfire or the Achilles now that they know that they're ready to move. So they're still kind of nearby, but there hasn't been any big push. If there's going to be any push, the Achilles might be, actually, it's entirely possible the Achilles might be sent to start setting things up deeper in the Expanse, especially given it's a Pathfinder recon vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more like listening posts rather than subspace relays, because to make sure you need to verify between the Achilles and the Wildfire, you have to verify that the space is safe to put something in. It isn't claimed by somebody else. Or attacked by Tripoli, for all we know.
So I guess there's nothing to distract me. How's my husband doing?
He is.
God damn!
It's like the fifth thing down the list.
Oh my god.
Now there's nothing else to distract me.
I'm a workaholic. I'm also
so
trying
am
to
I, but I
avoid
don't-
trauma.
He's been over the last few days he's been kind of testy with you, which is unusual for him to know. But he's you're getting the feeling he's pissed with you about something. He hasn't like straight out just confronted you about it. He just kind of ticked at you all the time.
Am I in the emotional state to handle that? Considering I have a trauma 4 about Yolan.
Yeah, because anything would be like you are anything you'd want to do with that would be increase in difficulty and complication. So maybe he's ticked off. Maybe he's ticked off with you because you're so damn distant for some reason.
I
And
wonder
he's
why.
not entirely sure why.
All right, I'll try to handle this in house. I'm gonna have a sit down conversation.
Where?
Our quarters, if possible.
Okay. Yeah, totally. The Achilles isn't
Just-
isn't being screened. Well, you're gonna try to have a conversation with him and try what's going on. Presence plus command or medicine. Actually, it'd be
joy.
insight. Sorry. You're trying to get him to tell you what's up. So presence or insight, either one. Difficulty. Base would be 1, but it's increased by 4 to 5. And comp range is increased
4.
by 4, so comp range of 5 total. As you do your level best to try to have a conversation with him without looking him in the eye or being within arm's reach, and also constantly making sure he's not touching anything that might blow up or hurt him or kill him. Actually, you know what? You probably should make sure that food isn't poisoned. That'd be really helpful. In the wine, you should probably scan the wine real quick. You know, you're kind of doing stuff like that. You're being incredibly hyper protective of him.
What's the Admiralty focus?
Strategy and tactics.
Can I possibly swing that in this situation?
I would have to say no, given the context of the conversation.
Unfortunately, there are no quotes from Sun Tzu or Clausewitz in order to determine how best to appease your husband.
I mean, there's one for Confucius, but that's a different kettle of fish entirely.
Okay.
So a
next
focusing
one.
Confucian thought would apply in this situation. Is that what you're telling me?
All right.
Well, as
next
long as-
long shot. Emergency repairs of relationship.
No.
All right. Swinging at the traits. How about married?
That helps. Comp or diff?
Okay. Diff.
Diff 4. He's willing to put up with you some of your eccentricities a bit more than the average person might. Well,
Yep.
that's more than eccentricity, but he doesn't know that.
All right. Reckless trait.
Your comp can't go any higher. Well, it can. Comp 6. We'll just have to manually keep that in mind.
Oh boy. No focus. Comp 6. Sorry guys, I'm taking that momentum and 2 more threat.
Roger.
Could he use his engineering score because he's trying to repair something?
No, he already tried that.
I already tried that.
With emergency repairs, I mean.
All right.
Now, if his husband was an android,
I got nothing.
You get into a big blow-up argument. He seems to be incredibly incensed the fact that you don't spend time with him enough. You idle, and frankly, you seem to be scared of it for some reason. And he seems to take that very, very, very personally. You kind of say some things you probably shouldn't, because your character is legitimately scared for this guy because he's killed a few times. So entirely unreasonable, which is kind of part of the problem.
I'm not scared of you. I'm scared of something happening to you.
He tells you that he's made up his mind. He is gonna go see family back in the Alpha Quadrant. He thinks maybe you two just need some time to figure yourselves out. And he literally grabs a bag that he already had packed, and he walks out the door.
Hey, Asa, you busy?
Speaking of, the camera swings to Asa.
No, I did have some ideas for what Isa might be up to, but I think those plans are going to get sidetracked.
Hey, you can always send a support character to deal with it. Make it not your problem. Look, I have staff. You deal with it. No.
So, the camera's switching to me then?
Yep.
Okay, first things first, I would like to, okay, I forget her first name. The mom of Tabin, Deba something.
Reixa?
Reixa. Thank you. I knew it began with Nar. I would like to see what her, because I know she's not on a ship in this timeline. I want to see what her status is.
Where do you look this up?
Starfleet crew records.
She's just on like the ship's computers, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me reason plus command or medicine, because she is a medical. Difficulty of, it would be 5, it's reduced to 4. Assisted by computers plus command or medicine. As this all information is highly classified, and you kind of have to go through the bureaucracy of verifying that you need to know this information.
Well, the thing is, she didn't need to know this information. This is satisfying a personal curiosity on her sake more so than anything else. So, reason. I don't have. I would, because I'm not like. If I were to argue, like, if I got on the phone with someone from like Starfleet Rex or Starfleet Administration and like asked them directly, could I spin conversation in that case, or is that a reach?
I'd give that to you. You turned into a presence point because you're trying to convince someone who would have access to tell you.
Command conversation. Okay. Still difficulty 4. We have no momentum. So take 3 threat.
Certainly.
Oof.
Ship does help.
Oh, okay.
Computers. Medicine. Oh, command.
Well, there you go. You actually gain a momentum off the back of it. You chat with them a bit, and you talk back and forth. You kind of don't start off with the question you want. You kind of talk about other stuff first. But eventually you're able to ask the question and then plead admit you don't need to know, but you would really like to know. And you're told that it would seem that she has gotten in this reality, she is known to be more closely aligned with the Star X family back on Beta Z. And she also seems to be friends with someone in the Klingon High Council. Not directly like friend of a friend, but it's enough that Starfleet Intelligence is kind of giving her an extra eye. So it appears that she was going to be assigned to the Achilles, but she was removed pending her pending the court-martial investigation. So in
No,
this
okay.
universe, she's been removed for the past for at least a month. Like she was gonna go to the Achilles, but she was never really assigned.
Okay. But as far as we know, she is of good health and is with her son, or is united with her son.
Yeah,
Okay.
far as the
Um,
records are showing.
Well, Asa is going to give a person a smile and say, thank you for letting me know. And she will close the comms. There's some like personal disappointment that she didn't get to know Tapen in this timeline, but it's that self-centered thought is overwrought by happiness that they get to be together here. And with that, she's going to try to go to the station to get her mind off of things, but I assume she's about to be interrupted.
Is she interrupted either Arlen or Ben?
Yeah, you get called to the engineering bay or engineering lab.
I'll be there right away, Lieutenant.
And then the camera swings around to Lieutenant Rylock. New scene.
Charming. Well, time to find out if Sub-Lieutenant Talora has been able to get authorization to in any way, shape, or form contact her own people. Because as far as our timeline's concerned, she shouldn't have been on the ship. So it might be a good idea to get that resolved before the Romulan state starts going, you kidnapped one of our officers.
She actually has been able to get into contact with gain a momentum, hilariously. As she's able to present some of her bona fides to the Republic, to the Senate, as it were, to verify who she is. It helps to a degree that Starfleet has vetted her, and intelligence have vetted her, which doesn't make her terribly pop. If she was ever running for Senate, that'd be an issue. And if the Tal Shiar were involved, she'd be in real trouble. But the Senate's not quite so quick to cut away a good officer who's been otherwise proven.
Well, that
And
solves a whole lot of problems.
And she's kind of speaking with you within one of the upper levels of the starbase. Kind of sharing what she's learned. That it seems, she kind of reports in conversation to you, or shares with you, better way to put it, the fact that the Civil War seems to be very much in full. It lines up with how things were going at the same time period, or around the same start date. It isn't deteriorating quite as quickly this time around, or in this reality, but she isn't, as a sub-lieutenant, she isn't exactly being privy to the naval secrets of the fleet, really, but asking around, getting a feel for things, it's like, things are going on, but it's not quite the desperate rush like it was when you guys were, when you last were talking to them.
Well, that was complete and utter collapse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which means we don't really need to talk about or continue the thing about joining, going for asylum, that was it. Because that's no longer particularly relevant.
And as you two are talking, you see walking through the corridor and kind of passing by the two of you. You recognize the face of one of a Klingon who is marked as a La, or a commander slash captain. Oh no, La would be commander. But you didn't know him as a La when you first met him. You knew him as a Sog, a lieutenant. He looks a bit older, but you know that face the minute you pass by him, but especially since you're so close to the guy.
That is probably very much just a solid pause in whatever he was saying, or if she was saying something that's very much zoned out for a second, like, I need, hmm. What, does he have any insignia, anything like that on him, or is there anything that I know about this guy other than what I'm guessing here? Or what is
He,
on him that's different aside from his
he
rank?
he is a commander, Allah. That's new. He is marked as a warrior of House Sugita. He's not of the house, but he works for the house. But you remember him as being of House Button-On. He doesn't have the House Button-On symbol anymore because the Button-On don't exist anymore. So he's under House of Gitta command. He is a KDF officer. That hasn't changed. He does seem to have a pad kind of tucked into his belt that indicates that he has some sort of strategic information on his person. And also, you don't remember him being quite so important. He was a ground officer, a very much a batleth in hand, salt the fields type guy. You know what I mean? He was the guy who attacked and led sections. Now he seems to be up here in the upper decks of a starbase, seeming to head toward one of the admiral's offices. So his importance is a lot higher than it was before. But it's been a few years, so.
Great.
He does not recognize you at all. He doesn't bat an eye that you're there. He gives you a glance, the two of you a glance because you're Romulan, but beyond that, he's like, okay, and he just keeps going. It doesn't even cross his mind. He still gives you the Klingon glare, but then again, he gives a glare to anyone who happens to meet eyes with him because Klingons.
Probably stare for a minute, and look back to Delora. It seems I have some digging to do. Did I ever get you the information on that Talshia spy drone?
You talked about it, but you never really went into detail. I don't have schematics or anything.
Right, well, let's fix that. Given you are a roboticist, so that's more your field than mine. Well, for
What
changes.
What are you thinking of doing with this? As she looks over at the schematics.
Well, at present it is straightforward and somewhat efficient in its function, though we were able to apprehend and trick one with a holodeck. That's how we first came into acquisition of it.
Okay.
So with that particular means of foiling it being noted, there might be a way to change that, or to give it a means of detecting that particular method of trickery.
We could probably reprogram its subroutines, or program in a subroutine to kind of recognize that sort of, to give it that sort of protection. But it's doable. I can do it. You're right, by the way. You seem to space out on me.
A unpleasant memory. Still walking around, apparently.
That sounds thoroughly unpleasant.
Oh, yes. By the way, we haven't actually found this drone yet, I believe, in this timeline. So, I'm not entirely regulations are fun. We might have
No,
a
no.
means to preempt it. Or simply having something superior to theirs. Which, being a step ahead of the Tal Shiar, is always appreciated.
If you would like her to update this, your copy of the drone schematic, I'm going to treat this as an extended task because you're upgrading existing technology. Let me get you your number. You won't be able to do it. You'll be able to pluck away at it once an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me get you that. Okay. So tick tick tick. Boop. We'll see. This. Control plus science. Work 6, magnitude 2, difficulty 2, control plus science to optimize Romulan drone against hollow illusions.
Lovely.
So you can activate tower and roll with main and assist, or do you? Depends how you want to run it.
Oh,
Doing it on the station, you can use the station resources or the Achilles resources.
We're already on the station. So.
The station doesn't help.
Tragic.
That's. Well, I'll
Odd.
double check. I might be wrong. But you do your role. It may or may not help. Stations have silly stats, especially when they're this big.
Yeah. I'd figure she'd lead it given she is a roboticist, and I'm sure robotics as a focus is useful here.
I would say so, yeah. Computers plus engineering. Nope, it's 1.2 high.
Amazing.
Unfortunate.
Okay, nah, neither of those. I'll just double check what some things you had were give you a threat and yeah. Oh, and he was assisting, wasn't he?
Yep.
Could I make an argument for engineering instead of science?
As an assist, yeah.
He does not have a focus. I don't think. No. No. But that was 4 hits on a diff 2, so. And then. How many challenge dice?
Be 6.
6. I've not done an extended task in forever.
It's been a hot minute, yeah.
I mean,
if you had any ability that changed those into.
I mean, if you just spend 2, you can complete it.
Yeah, it has been a long run since we've done an extended task.
I will end you. Yeah, no, spend 2.
5. Yep. So yeah, you're able to between the two of you, you're able to spend some time working on the subroutines, and you're figuring out ways to, making sure the drone is capable of doing the things you're programming it to do. Scan using this specific bandwidth, this bandwidth. It's like or waveform. It's like, no, we can't do that because this can't scan that. Oh, well, okay, we'll try something else then.
Which is also helping us to. Oh, what's the limitations of this thing that we know they have? Oh, okay. There's like another side effect of that.
So you note for that drone, that in like somewhere, that it has a trait of, I'm not sure how to put it. The long way to put it is resistance to hollow. I'm not sure how to put that more succinctly than that. But it has that now. Your version of the of that drone, that capability, because you programmed it into the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
But new scene.
Whenever it enters a new ship, it goes, I've come up with a new hollow recipe.
Okay. So, Captain Penn, you approach the doors of Rear Admiral Harmon Grennan.
Yay, I'll chime his door.
Sure.
Oh, this is Captain Penn. May I enter?
I said enter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll enter the room.
Here's a question I have for you, Corbinian.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of a change in, like, Admiral Grennan's memories of Penn and their time together? Like, how much has changed?
A lot. You don't to put it in short. For example, you don't remember him having a cybernetic.
I don't
So there's
remember him having a what?
A cybernetic leg.
Okay, but we did still serve together, right?
You did serve together. This person has the name, the face, a lot of the mannerisms of the, but it's not the Penn you knew, and it's plain as day to you. But he's been verified. He is a complete officer with a variety of skills and loyalty to the Federation. So as far as the command's concerned, your personal misgivings of the guy are irrelevant. The Federation requires you to do your job, whether or not you feel comfortable around the guy or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Captain?
Right, Admiral, and... La?
Ah, Captain Penn, it's good to see you again.
Sure.
Goes over to kind of give you a good old shake of the hand.
Yeah, I'll shake his hand. Sure, yep, completely remember meeting you before.
Well, this mission should go rather easily. Shall I brief him then, Admiral?
By all means.
He enters something he plugs something into the computer and then taps at the screen. Captain, there is something of an embarrassment that Sivgita needs to solve. And normally I would love the opportunity to quash it myself, but I am still waiting for orders. There's nothing to say that our good allies in Starfleet and a bit of Achilles elbow grease could solve the problem quickly. And on the
Brendan just
screen,
crosses his arms.
appears a asteroid just floating in the midst of deep space. This is Grethor Station. It used to be a Klingon intelligence post that a certain house I once served. Well, he looks around. Klingons here, but House Buttonon used to this as its territory, but when they collapsed 5 years ago due to your glorious demolishment of their facilities, there was some of their assets were left to fester. So I decided to look into some of these festering assets to see if they could be put to use to the Empire. And I found this station. It's a small outpost style station with a particular focus on its ability to do long range subspace scans and to act as a sort of staging ground for raids. Its normal operation is to act as a sort of mine. Now, Klingon intelligence doesn't know anything about this station other than that it was abandoned and a lot of the records stricken. What I need, what the Empire needs, and what your admiral here has approved is the investigation of Grethor Station and to determine how viable it is that Shackleton fleet operations can retake the station.
Retake's a very specific choice of words.
Well, I'm expecting for a place named Grethor Station to be rather interesting, given the name.
I'm more pointing to the fact of retake means contact. You mean recoup the station. Reclaim.
Well, whatever gets the job done, huh?
Wording's important, but sure.
No, like I'm not saying you get to steal all the glory for yourself unless they're that weak. Then I guess your fancy hoplites can do them in. But I'm not asking Starfleet to kill a bunch of people. I know you get a little. Most of you get pretty squeamish about that. But we just need to make sure it's even worth our time. And heck, for all we know, they're all loyals and will be perfectly willing to do whatever we tell them to do. I really don't think so, but one can hope. Or not.
So you're still under the assumption this is a Batanan station?
Well, they have no legal authority to hold it anymore. And you're right. I do have a suspicion that maybe it was abandoned and now some other vagabond has, or cowardly Ferengi has nested themselves in there.
And what's the level I'm allowed to use here, Rear Admiral? If there is a occupying force there refusing to leave?
Bangmar looks at Grennan because Bangmar can't command Pend around. He's just bringing up what the Klingons need.
If there is a violent force there, you'll have to report back in at the very least. If the outpost is manned, that turns this into a diplomatic situation, not a salvage one.
Okay, and what diplomatic leeway do I have as a non-Klingon in this situation?
And Grennan looks to Vang Moore.
If they are of that lost house, then they are to be considered criminals of the Empire who should be extradited promptly to Klingon authorities to be executed. If they're something other than Button-On, then and not Klingon or any of the conquered, he stops himself, loyal citizens of the Empire, then that may create some complications, which is why I'm coming along. If there's anyone related to the Empire, I can give you some support. But if it's anything outside the Empire's jurisdiction, well, I know Penn knows how to get the job done, so I'll leave it to his creative problem solving.
Right, Grennan says, just sort of quirking an eyebrow.
And
Well, as it stands, if it's anything outside of those particular circumstances, it's likely unique enough of an edge case that command will probably want to be informed anyway. So I think with that, you'll have everything you'll likely need in the moment.
I can probably handle whatever happens there, but I'll keep regular reports up to Narendra.
Very good.
Is that all? As he looks both to Vangmore and Grennan.
Vangmore takes the module he had plugged into the computer. The screen goes blank. He taps at something and then looks to you. I can upload a copy of this to your pad if you want.
Please, are you coming with us aboard the Achilles or your own vessel?
I probably, as much as I would like to come up with my own vessel, I think it's wiser to go with yours. If I go, then we'll have to solve this the Subgitta way, which, glorious as it is, it may counter whatever plans you might have.
No, House Subgitta has never ruined any plans that I've made. Never. What would give you that idea? Yeah, sure, copy it to a pad and report to Achilles when you're ready.
Very good, Hood. Admiral. And the commander excuses himself.
As soon as that door closes. Who the fuck was that?
He is, he's with Subgitta, right?
Yep, he's a warrior of House of Gitta.
One of the many, many warriors of House Subgitta.
Oh, I know about House Subgitta, but apparently he knows me?
Grennan lets out a sigh. Yeah, you know him. There were a lot of things that you knew and that you did before you showed up the way you are.
I mean, I've not had access to the logs to see what your version of me was like, but I'm pretty sure if I'm the one who's still here, probably the superior one.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Probably the superior pen.
Grennan puts his hands down on the table and stands up. Watch yourself, Captain.
Oh, you've not got the same sense
Braglov
of humor.
Pend I knew was a good man.
I mean, how
And I'm
good?
sure that the Grennan that you knew would say the same thing.
Uh, I knew my granny had a weird obsession with hot chocolate.
There's nothing wrong with hot chocolate.
The fact that you're defending it says all you need to know.
At least you still have something in common. The Pend I knew.
Terrible sense of humor.
Well, that as well.
Abrasive as all hell. Yeah. Anyway, look, we're getting off on the wrong foot here. This is awkward for both of us, I'm sure. But we're gonna have to work together and get to know each other better, or get reacquainted. This is really confusing. This is why I don't do time travel.
Hey, if we're being honest, I should probably call you Rear Admiral, because I assume you are not on first name basis with this me, yeah?
Well, I was
I'll note
on
you.
a...
I'll note to you, Pend, and this is for Grennan as well. You note that this Grennan has a saber at his belt that's tied with a sash that indicates he is recognized as quad ability, and that's what it kind of dawns on you. This Grennan is the other Grennan. Like in this timeline, something must have happened where there must have been some switch between the two Grennans, so something's off. You can even see he's kind of holding himself a little more regally.
Oh, wild.
You're one of the fake ones. Okay. That makes sense. You've got more of a backbone. No, that's out loud.
Yeah. Watch yourself, Captain.
I recognise the Quaquar saber. Was it still Adler's cloning?
GM, was it still Adler's clone? Like, is that whole fuckery?
I'm not sure how much of that's his business, really. It seems rather personal.
Oh, no, I know. I'm talking about out of character, like...
That's as far as she's gonna get.
Okay,
is what I'm saying.
That's as far as Pend is gonna get.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Fair enough. Captain, that is none of your business.
Whatever floats your boat. I was going to recommend if you wanted to just go over the files between the two of us, because it's nice to see where we differentiate, even though I have a decent idea.
Grennan just sort of rubs the bridge of his nose. Something that he used to do a lot. Like, that's a classic. That's the Grennan maneuver, rubbing the bridge of his nose.
Come on, I know a bar that does fruity cocktails you'll enjoy.
Look, I'll try to get you access to some of the old Kismet and Tiger Squadron files. It'll take a bit. Some of that stuff is still quite classified, even though you technically took part in it. You didn't quite take part in our version of it, so it's gonna take some doing.
Did you have a dusk machine? / dawn machine, whatever you decided to call it.
Did we?
Pend, give me presence command to see if that's something Grennan, because Grennan can, as an admiral, can totally just clear it because he's a admiral, but it's whether or not he feels like telling you.
Yep.
Diplomacy?
I'm gonna say no here.
Oh. Composure?
I'll say no to that one. I don't think you're There's in
I
question
might
here
even
when
give
speaking
you
with Grennan.
negotiation focus for this one.
I don't have negotiation. I have diplomacy as a focus.
No, I'm just saying I could have given the negotiation as the admiralty focus, but I didn't.
Strategy and tactics. I'm finding out where I lie within the current universe.
You could push that button because it'd be strategically be nice to know if such a station exists or stopped existing.
Just trying to think if any of my traits would kick in, but I can't be asked rattling them all off. I'll give you a threat.
Certainly.
Would you say this is a social interaction or social conflict?
I would say so.
Okay. Then I get an extra die, so you'd get an extra threat. And if I succeed, I get an extra momentum or bonus.
Why is that?
Because I have a charming demeanor.
Oh.
Oh no, I don't get an extra die, so I just get an extra reroll.
You get a reroll, so I don't get the extra one. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm just full of shit.
I was wondering. I was like, I don't think you have that.
Yeah, I just read it wrong.
I had 2 momentum generated. So the Dusk Machine, the events of the Dusk Machine attack and operation largely went the way that you recall that Penn recalls it, as we know it. The big difference is that when I got to the part about the involvement of the third ship,
Ganymede.
Ganymede, I always get it wrong. The Ganymede actually suffered high casualties because it seemed that they encountered another a supposed Starfleet intelligence group, and it created some confusion about the mission, and it caused the Death Machine was destroyed. But it was suspected that these Starfleet intelligence officers were, in fact, Starfleet intelligence. They were just simply posing as them. And part of the reluctance was the fact that that case never really got cleared. And yeah, there's kind of that specter of uncertainty about it. So it's not anything against Penn in particular. It's more that the situation is kind of, even years later, still kind of an ongoing investigation.
Yeah. Yeah, Grennan's basically gonna outline that to him, like, understand this is technically still an open matter as far as Starfleet intelligence is concerned. So I can't tell you everything just because I wouldn't even be able to tell this to I couldn't give this to just anyone anyways, regardless of your status as someone outside of this timeline. I'd have trouble giving this to anyone. But there was an incident during the Dusk Machine battle. The Ganymede took on heavy losses due to a counterintelligence action taken during the assault. The exact perpetrators and reason for the operation are still unknown.
With the bonus that I got, and probably one more, could I glean any other events that might be different? Not just with the Dust Machine?
You would need to be more specific. A lot, because I would hand it back and say a lot of things are different in this reality. How different and whether it's relevant,
Or primarily between Grennan and Penn, like key events.
I'll take the one off of the Dusk Machine. You get Penn reading between the lines as Grennan continues talking. You remember that at that time, around that time when you went to Target Squad and you were on probation for your involvement with Section 31, It doesn't seem this Grennan is aware that Penn was in Section 31. Now, whether or not that means he never knew, or you never told him, or he was never found out, or if this Penn was ever a member, is unclear. But that seems to, because the natural suspect in that scenario would be you, because you'd be the closest involved in the strategy planning. But Grennan doesn't even hint at that at all.
That's not good.
Bro, your mother better not be alive again.
Can I spend 2 creating advantage if I figure out whether I was ever a part of Section 31?
No, it wouldn't be not off the back of this roll.
Son of a
You
bitch.
probably have to go do something.
All you know is Grennan doesn't seem to be aware of it, which there's a million reasons why he might not know.
I mean, it also explains why he doesn't, or he still thinks that his pen was a quote-unquote good guy.
Oh, this one was from Section 31. Oh, I see. Okay, he's that kind of officer. No, hold on.
Yeah, Grennan...
So you get that's where some of the hostility is coming from. It's the fact that your background seems a lot shadier, at least as far as Grennan's concerned, compared to the pen from here.
Yeah, Grennan will probably just see that light bulb go off in Penn's head. I need to look up my version of Penn because he may not have told you certain things, if they even occurred.
You believe that there are things that my version of Penn hid from me?
Considering I've, in multiple variations, come across, I think, what, like 5 or 6 versions of myself? I believe so, yeah. High possibility.
Admiral Grennan, this is station operations. Requesting your presence.
Yes, I'll be right there. This conversation isn't over.
Can I have access to your computer while you're gone? I need to look some things up.
No.
God,
Dismissed.
this one's no fun. As he walks out the room.
Can I have a peep at your computer real quick? No, get out.
I'm finding a computer and I'm finding out what the fuck's happened.
I promise to clear the search history this time.
I will note, Penn, you do have orders. Are you willingly not adhering to your orders to ship out?
No, I'll be shipping out, but I'm looking at the data first. I'm giving the order and time for people to get back to the ship whilst looking things up.
Looking things up will take time. I will warn you. But, especially since, yeah. If I can get to the thing I was looking for. Awesome. Search function. Well, we can get that. We can hammer yours out real quick, Pen, because that's a pretty straightforward one. Reason, command, difficulty of 4.
Oh, please don't say I was an actual fucking, like, Boy Scout.
Wait, I have another thing that I'm super curious about. What happened to Varro in this timeline?
I'm also curious. We'll see.
Could I spend my determination towards Prime? I'm trying to figure out what I did or did not do so I don't violate a Prime directive.
I would have to say no to need some more specific threat. Too general.
And it's too general a threat.
Yeah. I am the calm in the storm.
There's no real storm at the moment. Everything's pretty calm, relatively.
There'll be a storm if I find out as a goddamn Cub Scout. Shit goes wrong, figure it out. I'm literally trying to figure out what's gone wrong.
Maybe nothing's gone wrong. Maybe everything's fine.
No. Sometimes the bad choice is the only one.
Are you hacking his computer?
Oh no, I'm probably going to get dinged for looking up this information because I'm going to be delaying.
I would take it, but you would basically have to hack in files that you don't have access to. This role is you doing it the proper way. You're properly looking up the computer, filling out the correct forms, and and trying to get the information as befitting a Starfleet officer. If you straight up hack Starfleet commands or Starfleet security's records to try to bypass all that, that'd be a bad decision, but your determination would kick in.
I mean, the only one I've got is this seems like a teaching moment. Can that teach me about me?
No.
So there's no directives, and that's the only value that can possibly kick in.
I would say that if you use that one, it'd be security instead.
I mean,
because it's hacking through security code, sort of, or science, I suppose. But I don't think you're going that way.
No, I'll try it without the determination. Yeah, I was just seeing what would even be applicable, which is apparently nothing.
The station will help though, because you are looking it up on with its assistance.
Focus in strategy and tactics.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I'll roll 6 challenge dice. You get 5. Would you like to punish me?
I'm good, thanks. What are you doing? Command. Station helps. For 1, so 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 hits by my count. On a diff 4, so you get 4. Captain Pend had a very quiet career aboard the Kismet. He stayed as the chief flight officer for duration during the Tiger Squadron era. According to the file, he was not associated with Section 31 in any way. He seemed to be the sort who did his job, piped up when asked, but otherwise did not chase command. He became captain within the last couple of years. Was assigned to the Achilles. He was part of the design team that built the Achilles, though. But he was not the XO of Tiger Squadron. He only became command out. He only got through to lieutenant commander by the end of the the Quaqua crisis, the Dust Machine crisis, and then became a captain over the last 5 years. Because there was a lot of Tiger Squad. Everyone in Tiger Squadron had meteoric rises after that.
Why are we in the darkest timeline? Oh shit! I've got questions, and I've luckily got momentum.
Ask him.
Was I ever taken by Azalon's Justice Ray to Andoria at any stage for Section 31 training?
You can save yourself the question. You've never been involved with Section 31, as far as Starfleet's concerned. Now, whether or not you were, you'd have to find someone in Section 31 to answer that question.
Was I ever involved in the Starfleet intelligence?
I'll take that point. Not directly, no. You didn't serve in the security wing. You flight for the majority. But when Tiger Squadron got into full swing, intelligence kind of became part and parcel of the senior staff. So you kind of got read in for intelligence work, but more in the command administrative sense, less field operations.
Can I find out if my former XO is still alive?
Say again?
My former XO? Is he still alive?
Yeah.
What? Canalvaro? Oh, for CO or XO's commander?
As in regards to the Varo file, that is not related to your file.
2 momentum could it be?
You encounter a classified file by Admiral Hepburn regarding the Varo file. Varo was your XO aboard the Kismet, that much is clear. Your service with them is on record, but the events of what happened in Empire are classified. Like what basically you guys got into orbit, you were starting to investigate things, and then the file just kind of gets the 10th Expeditionary Fleet classified it to high heaven. Which that didn't happen last time. Last time it was classified, but it was classified among yourselves, among the fleet. Because you lost an officer that day, so that kind of was a big deal for you guys. But what exactly happened on that mission, unclear.
Okay.
The same end result occurred, but who exactly lived or died was a little more fuzzy. And then after that, the Vara file seems to continue, but it's all classified. So whether or not that person was still alive after the fact or had died and there's more notes made about them, you don't know. You'd have to get Admiral Hepburn of the 10th Expeditionary Fleet to clear it.
Okay. Status of Azalon Shishre?
She was killed on Narinder Station by, as far as intelligence is aware, Starix killed her during his coup.
And that was during the Calcut arc? Or like the Calcut incident?
Yeah.
Is it noted down if Pend is married or in a relationship on his file?
I'll take a moment for that, and also the other question. But it's the file. The other Pend was not in a relationship. Oh no, were they? Was Pend in a relationship back in Tiger Squadron with that commander?
No.
No.
No, then no. The file has since been updated that the new Pend that they know aware of has that relationship, but the other Pend didn't have anything that Starfleet noted. I mean, yeah, the passing, whoever he's had a few romantic dalliances, but nothing super serious. At least that was noted on file. So whether or not he told command about it or wrote it down somewhere.
Is there a way I can just like give you a momentum and you can tell me a random thing? Because I'm confused that you put me in the worst Pen timeline.
I'll take a momentum. I can give you a little insight here. The fate, the reality, the fabric of existence all rested on a single pin amongst the great tapestry of existence. And that single pin poked up and shifted everything just a little bit. And that pin was Ven. And Ven had a very particular thing he was focused on, and a lot of stuff he wasn't focused on. So to make the tapestry shift, some things shifted in a ripple effect.
Oh, I've got to kill Ven now, haven't I?
But before we go to the briefing room aboard the Achilles, is there anything people wish to wrap up?
Yeah, I would like to not cry anymore.
All right. Aza and Arlen, you're meeting in the engineering bay, I believe, aboard the Achilles.
Yep.
Yeah, Isa in her civvies, her Bajoran robes, is going to go down to the engineering bay to see what Arlen needs.
So I'm coping in probably the worst possible way, and I'm taking notes from Iron Man, and I'm building a suit just to see if I can.
What? Uh, okay. Okay. So what do I see when I walk in here? Do I literally see you putting together like a exosuit?
I'm probably like fabricating in boots at this point, but they're obviously like power armor suits.
Well, that's relatively normal. Well, comparatively normal. Um, yes, I will just walk up and tap Arlen on the shoulder and say, I'm here. What do you need me for?
I'm not sure everything's okay. In fact, I'm pretty sure everything's not okay.
Should I leave? An officer kind of looks between the two of you. They didn't recognize Aza right away in their civvies. Oh, that's the council.
Yes, please.
No, how about you keep working, Ensign. How about the two of us take a walk and we'll talk there? Does it sound good? You could head up to my office even if you wanted to.
But I won't let go of the tools. Like I'm just standing there holding a spanner.
Okay. Breathe. I oh god. What do I do? I'm going to tell him to breathe and to focus himself on his environment. I want him to snap out of his disassociation somehow.
Oh. Discipline or presence plus medicine, difficulty 2. Arlen can assist with fitness medicine.
I will
What do you mean by
give it a
discipline?
gallant try.
Sorry, control.
Okay.
Wrong
There we
system?
go.
All right. Control. Presence. They're the same score. I guess I'll go with presence. Medicine. Focus in psychiatry.
Yes.
Okay. I will give you one threat.
One third eye.
I have nothing approaching in focus here.
Wait, you didn't take mindfulness as a focus?
I have the opposite of mindfulness. Okay. Okay, I need to walk. I need to put this down and I need to go to need 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 to go with you.
Yep, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take him by the shoulder and begin walking him down to the counselor's office.
Just got back. Oh my god, is that actually what it is? Is Penn just a nice guy in this time?
I'm here for it.
Fucking assholes.
It's so funny.
To the door of the counselor's office, you arrive.
Is there a tricorder on a table somewhere?
Not really, no.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up like whatever random tool I can and find and just start fidgeting with it in my hand. Like I don't even know what this is. I'm just physically fidgeting with a tool.
One of the medical officers kind of gives a him and grabbed a random implement. The both of you recognize that it's a cosmetic tool. It's used for helping people with blemishes on their skin that particularly bother them and stuff. Like it helps color it, so it won't hurt anything. It'll be, and they
Yeah,
can always make more.
There's going to be powder all over his hands in about 10 seconds. But yeah, Asa will lead him into her office and help him sit down on the couch. Wait, so no, he sits on the big couch. I sit on the small couch. I know how therapy works. Assuming he will sit on the couch.
I am not going to sit on the couch. I'm going to be pacing furiously.
Whatever the patient would prefer. And once that is going on, she's just going to ask him what's going on and have an impromptu therapy session.
All right.
So Yolan left.
Like,
and
what do you mean Yolan left? Like he got off the ship?
he's going back to Denobula. I think back to his family.
Do you know what for?
Probably a lot of things. A lot of them. I'm not good with this. I'm not really a people person. I'm more mechanical, and I like seeing a mechanical problem and fixing it. And this is not a mechanical problem, and I don't know how to fix this. There's no like clear, easy solution in here, and now it's starting to scare me.
God, I wasn't aware the two of you were having problems. I'm sorry this can be so difficult. And yeah, look, unlike machines, there is no one easy fix for people. It's tricky. Relationships are hard to maintain, and sometimes they break down. But we can put ourselves back together. I'm sure if we put our heads together and think about this for a bit, we can figure out a solution that will keep both you and Yolan happy. And if you can't, then, well, I can help you work through that too.
Is it bad that I kind of feel relieved that he's not on the Achilles?
Why do you feel that way?
And on that prompt, I'll ask for a presence medicine roll. This is to buy fitness medicine. Difficulty. I was waiting until you were out of the chatty phase. Like, no, here comes the medical part. Unless she's being sarcastic, at which point, what the hell? No, really. Tell me how you feel. Plates of dough here. Don't mind me. Presence plus medicine, difficulty 5, assisted by computers medicine.
Sorry.
Arguably, you could use control as well instead of presence.
They're the same number.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Okay. Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, the trauma number is really high
Mm-hmm.
because it's treating it as trauma number +1 for difficulty.
He
So
has been avoiding this for a while.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, if he was still avoiding it, I could use my sometimes you have to help those who can't help themselves value or won't help themselves. But I don't think that applies here because he is asking for help. Focus in psychiatry.
yeah, I think it applies here.
The trait moral guide.
Huh.
That's a great trait.
His first response to thinking someone hurt Yolan just last episode was murder. So I think that might actually be appropriate.
I'll take it. Yeah. Scared of you.
Hey.
It seems relevant. His first response was murder.
Okay, do I have anything else? Presence medicine. It's really involved medicine, possibly spend none of them really apply. All right, I'm just gonna go for it. I'll spend. Oh God, I'll just spend it all on threat. How much threat is it for 5 dice?
6.
6. All right, take 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'll reroll that 0. Okay, we're all set.
Yay!
Gain 1 back. Your trauma level has gone down by 1, and it. One moment. Pardon me. Yeah, you're able to help Arlen work through his fear, his phobia, as it were, of Yolan being horribly killed. Which, I mean, space is dangerous, and Starfleet ships more so than normal, but that said, you know.
I took that phobia too far, and at this point, I'm kind of relieved that he's not on the ship, because that means he can't die horribly in the vacuum of space, or get irradiated, or turned inside out, or
Like there's reasonable things to be afraid of, and then there's like checking food for like poison just in case. He's checking the air quality. It's like that's not healthy. Let's work through some things that you could do that aren't those things.
Yeah. No, we have to learn that like when you do X, Yolan feels like this.
Yeah.
And no matter how concerned you feel, you have to consider his mental well-being in addition to his physical well-being. You know, it is sweet that you care about him, but no matter how much you care about him, you have to allow him to live his life as he so chooses. And being his, his nanny or his protective detail is not what he wants. He wants you to be his husband.
And I also have to reconcile the fact that despite all that, he did choose to come on the Achilles with me. He could have chosen to stay in the Alpha Quadrant, but he wanted to be on the ship. Not just for me, but for his own career. So.
And as that session goes on, after your talk, that's when the two of you will be summoned to a staff meeting.
Oh, how wonderful!
Because you'll have new orders. The two of you are probably in there for a couple hours trying to work through that.
Sounded like
very productive meeting.
Session. In that case, Um, you know what? Asa is not going to get changed. She will just wear her civilian clothes to the She's so like distracted by going on with Yolan that when the call comes, she'll just be like, "Oh yeah, time to go," and not realize that she forgot to change into her uniform.
So
Well, that's-
exactly how pigmented are my hands at this point?
Oh, you probably went through the spectrum of visible colors, and then at some point, as you pass by a nearby like computer, your hand started illuminating, and you're like, "Oh, hey! Apparently, you could paint this on the ultraviolet scale. Oh, that's neat. You probably should fix that. It's probably not good for you." And eventually, they take the tool back as no. Please don't play with our
Just,
tools.
okay, stop playing with that.
It's like, you can't really hurt yourself with this unless you know how. We're not gonna tell you how. We don't want you to discover it either. I mean,
might discover
you're
how
under
to hurt myself
you're being
today.
supervised. You were fine, but you know.
Mhm.
Who Throlic, Ven, or Ryla?
Not me this time. Step away
Then-
briefly, actually.
Ven Ryloff.
I need to do some digging on this person.
What are you
Which is
thinking
gonna
about
be-
him?
Well, we're in a different timeline and I'm paranoid.
No kidding.
So I need to find out if I'm actually right.
Reason plus security, difficulty of he does technically outrank you, so I'll put it to 3. Station will help though. Well, it'll
He does
try to
outrank
help
me,
better.
and some of these records are Romulan, not Federation.
Yeah. Well, it's the Starfleet half that's harder for you to look for that reason. Whereas the Romulan one's like, oh no, we totally this guy up. And Tower is activated, so you can use her.
Yeah, let's see. However, we won't.
Okay,
Listen, she doesn't know in the first place, so
that's true.
there was one person who did. Reason security will give you a threat.
Okay.
Does worry come into play, which is when you attempt a task to notice or detect an enemy or hazard?
Yep.
Okay, so that's just a reroll a d20 rather than getting a die. But it's useful, potentially. I am paranoid as a trait.
Brings the difficulty down by 1.
Oh, yeah. I have a focus and paranoid too. Investigative techniques.
Yes.
And I've got...
Station helps.
Okay. And then I had 2 rerolls, so I was like, I'll do that anyway. And, yeah. 6, 7, 8. God damn it. I was so close.
2, 3, 4. So
Yep.
2 momentum generated, I believe.
Yes.
This is Vangmar of House Buttonon, and he was one of the people who personally helped slaughter your family. Like, he was like the section commander who was leading the charge on the ground in your area.
Yay. Let me guess, Liberation Raid? Or is it just a regular raid?
Um,
Because this is before Liberation Raids, actually. Whoops.
yeah, it would have been more the liberation raid. So this would have been Buttonon, like just sort of straight up raid by House Button against the Roman Empire. Like, actually, that's the thing. When you look at this, dig into, but the Klingon records don't fight you too hard on it, really, because, well, House Sagitta is fully aware of Buttonon's activities, because they were a vassal house once upon a. They were technically a vassal house of House Sagitta, so they were aware of Buttonon's activities. So to them, among the Klingon Empire, wasn't a raid. It was a perfectly legal raid, so they don't hide it all that much from you.
Sure.
But it is that guy for sure.
Yes. How's he here?
He's been assigned here.
No, in terms of how has he been? How's his career led to this point from ground officer to apparently a commander?
That'll be a momentum spend.
Yes.
He under Buttonon, he was one of the officers who was part of the ground defense forces on Bamoth during the Three House Rebellion against Sagitta. When Buttonon fell, he was one of the surviving officers, and the survivors of House Buttonon who were there at the temple that was destroyed. Basically, it self-destructed and wiped out everyone in there. But he was one of the guys on the outside, and all the Buttonon officers were given a choice: either die, or they disavow Buttonon and serve Sagitta directly. So he was part of that changeover. Since then, he's actually served with glorious acclaim and worked his way up the ranks over the last 5 years to eventually become a commander. He is part of he was part of the Spymaster Corps. Not one of the inner circle, but one of the operatives that we moved around to look into intelligence work. He's more or less top secret intelligence, more the general analyst, strategic intelligence. So looking for stuff that would be of use. Specifically, his remit, especially all the stuff he knows about Buttonon, he was able to point out a lot of stuff that he knew about or what to look up. So he's kind of his risen because of that. But it's risen very, very slowly because of his former association with Buttonon. Like someone of his who's been serving for over 5 years should be a hood by now, or a Dahar master or something like that. But he's a law, which that's fairly slow given how much he's done. But Spymaster work isn't terribly glorious work, so that makes sense.
I mean, that's like 10 years ago that happened.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Buttonon didn't raise people all that much, and even among Buttonon, he didn't really have on guard this place, and there's not a lot of glory to be gained on Buttonon, all that often.
Charming.
Yeah. I look to Ven or Thralic next.
I can go.
I can go.
All right.
Ven?
Yeah, I mean, I presume so. Have I gotten the call to go back to the ship?
You will after whatever it is you're about to do. And circle back, Ryle. If you would have after your investigation, you've been told that there's a staff meeting on the Achilles.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that call hasn't quite happened yet for you.
I think with this, especially since we've been spending so much time away and everything, would now be a reasonable time to start reaching out to family and what have you. Because I presume we've been on something of a communications lockdown?
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree? So
who are you reaching out to?
Gonna try to reach out to my parents back at Earth.
Certainly.
He's bending threat to ask what parents.
Reason plus command or con. Difficulty 5. Because when you try to call them up and you say, hey, I want to talk to so-and-so at such and such address, and they ask you a couple of other questions like, what was that name again? It was this. Okay. And what was the address again? This. Okay. Do you have the subspace numbers they prefer? Like it's like they're having a hard time understanding who you're trying to call. And eventually they just give you access to the Earth spectrum and say, look, it's probably faster if you look it up yourself because the number you gave me, I can't find them and they're not at the address you indicated.
Okay, here's my play. So will you take the value? Be careful what you wish for.
I'd say so.
Uh-oh.
That's foreboding.
Yeah.
Keep threat free momentum for 4 dice.
Roger.
Uh-oh. I have a really bad feeling about this. Shit. Hang on. Let's see what else I've got, because that's only 4 hits.
Is it assisted by a ship or station?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the station could help you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Asa, we could hear you humming.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was muted.
It's okay.
Okay, that is at least okay. So that
Well,
was
that's 2 hits
hits
actually from the station.
Cool.
So eventually, you keep looking around, and then at some point, you are actually called by by Starfleet Security out of Earth Space Dock,
Okay.
and they say regarding your parents.
Okay. He's gonna open up the communications channel with Starfleet Security on Earth Space Dock. Oh dear.
You see a human appear on your screen. They appear to be a lieutenant commander. Good day. I am Scotty Valente, Starfleet Security.
What?
I've been Scotty Valente, Starfleet Security, of Earth Space Dock.
What rank do I see on his pips?
Lieutenant Commander.
Pleasure, Commander. I'm a bit confused.
I can imagine so. I am calling in regards to your investigation parents.
I wouldn't call it an investigation.
Well, semantics, I suppose. So I was mildly confused why you were scanning them so much. And then it occurred to me that you are from the Achilles, the new Achilles, according to my computer. Yes.
Yes.
So I figured I would save you the trouble, and inform you that the people you are looking for are currently missing.
What?
See, during the there was a incident that occurred during the tail end of the Dominion War here on Earth. You might be familiar with it, but in this timeline we had an issue with well, I won't dance around it, a coup by a Starfleet admiral who attempted to usurp the president's authority. And during that time, there were a few incidents across the planet that involved several people being hurt. And a lot of people went missing during that time. One such place, your parents had been attending a symposium in the city of Erfurt, in the Germanic region. And it was at that place where a rather severe attack happened at a nearby castle, and a lot of people went missing, including your parents. I actually was one of the investigating officers on the case. So I was wondering why you were asking about them. I thought you knew something I didn't. What I can tell you is that we don't think they are dead. We think they are we think they have been moved somewhere. We are still investigating where they've been taken. I'm sorry to tell you this in this manner, but frankly, I know that it is better to learn such things quickly rather than slowly.
Well, like Ven looks like absolutely bewildered. I mean, is there anything else you can tell me? I mean, ongoing investigation and all, but I mean, anything. I mean,
he kind of shifts in his bit. Well, we did have a lead for a short while regarding a Orion pirate station near the rim, close to where the 10th Expeditionary Fleet is posted. And the trail went cold due to the station in question we wanted to investigate being seized by and taken control of by Tiger Squadron. They went through some of the records and such, but they weren't at the station, and the people we wanted to talk to weren't there. So for the past few years, the trail's been fairly cold. I have made some questions into the Orion free traders to see what they know. I've also tried to reach out to some of our operatives in various Sofont trafficking rings.
the wheels are slowly starting to turn in Ven's head. Okay. All right. I hope you don't mind. Can I keep this this call number in case anything comes up?
Oh, certainly.
Thanks. Yeah.
If you want future updates on it, you can call me directly if you want. But you also, what I can do for you, I can send. I did this for the other Achilles as well, but it doesn't hurt anything to send it to yours. I could send a copy of the files to your chief of security, and they may be able to keep you updated on the more quickly than I might be able to, because I'm not always going to be available. But I will. I'm going to be here at Space Dock for the most part anyway. So.
Okay.
Just want to make sure you had more ways to get the information rather than.
Yeah, I'll bring that up with him so that this isn't a total surprise. Give it a day.
Yeah, just ping this number when he's good to get it, and I'll just have one. Send it up.
Thanks. That'll be all.
Good day, Ensign Vin. And he cuts the comm.
And Ven just slumps down into his chair.
Achilles to Ensign Vin.
Yes. Yeah, Ven here.
Staff meeting in 10 minutes.
Oh, understood. I'll be right there.
And then the camera shifts over to Thralic on that happy.
Fuck.
Woohoo! Ooh.
Holy shit.
What are
Yeah.
you doing to the timeline? And what have you done to anger you?
Everything has its price. I believe Thralic was
Fair
going
enough.
to the Midnight Watch.
Yes. So yeah, I was heading over to the Midnight Watch to basically check and see what their understanding like. So I want to see how far the kind of knowledge or experience of what happened propagated back through their side of things. So basically, I want to try to contact Wartburg through their office. Be like, hey,
Thralic isn't an agent, right?
no, but I was in contact with the Watch right before this happened.
Presence Command difficulty 3. You can succeed at cost in that you won't get necessarily Wartburg, but you might get someone else who will do what they can to help.
Yeah.
But if you get this roll, then he'll manage to get to you, or you'll manage to get to him. Better way to put it. And Station does help because they are not an illegal organization, so you can just call on regular channels.
Fantastic.
Well.
Does my trade ESP help me here? Not for the sake of using it, but for the sake of I have it.
Not in this case, no.
Okay.
Listen, you damn watch captain candidate.
Look,
just ignore those guys with the fancy sunglasses. Okay, that's.
Oh, yeah, no, I've been seeing them my whole life.
I just thought red sunglasses were popular among people. I didn't get it.
Yeah. Whenever I talk to people, they're like, what red sunglasses? Okay, focus. Strategy and tactics, more the strategy side here.
How so? Follow you.
So I'm trying to ascertain the distribution of knowledge. Distribution of knowledge is the foundation strategy.
At this point, you're just getting into contact with.
Ah, fair enough. Then I don't have a focus. I will see if I can proc Relentless here, though.
You could, yep.
Cool.
I will up your comp range because I know that there's a meeting coming up for you.
Yeah.
So I'll up that on my own accord there.
Take a threat.
Certainly.
Rolling 3. Alrighty. I generate 2.
And the station.
Oh, in the station. Pick. It hits.
Yeah, no kidding. A shuttle would hit with that roll.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
True.
You're able to eventually. You're led into a side, as eventually you're able to help the watch agents there track down exactly where he is, because that's part of the problem. Is like, I want to talk to this guy, and it's like, well, we can try to talk to him, but we have to figure out where he is right now. So we know where to call. Because if he's within Federation space, great. If he's not, it's going to be a little more complicated. Cough, cough. They don't mention that they have other ways, that they have a guaranteed way to talk to him, but they're not telling you how to get to that.
Because she already knows.
but eventually they take you into an office, computers, and you see a Federation logo appear, and then you see an emblem for an institute. You're not familiar with the species, but it looks like some sort of academic institute in the rimward areas of the Federation.
All right.
Well, if Game Fun War break here. I'm speaking with one Commander Thralic, is it? Commander Thralic.
Yes.
Of the
Commander
Achilles.
Thralic.
Yes. How can I help you?
This is perhaps a odd request, but have we spoken within the last few weeks, Captain? Not over subspace.
Not to my knowledge, no.
All right. Well, that answers that, I guess, then.
Is there something wrong? Is one of my agents giving you trouble?
Oh, actually, do I know about the thing with Ven and the... No, wait, that was in the previous universe. Never mind.
No, that was in this universe.
Was that in this universe? Right.
But they cornered him in the elevator? Yeah, that was...
Yeah. I don't think I know about that, actually, though, so... not to my knowledge, Captain. No.
Okay.
The Achilles, my ship, recently went through a bit of a alteration, and I'm trying to ascertain just how far those alterations spread.
I see.
Natures of reality in the mind being your organization's specialty, and having some latent ability myself.
Well, what I can tell you is that when... How do I explain this to a layman? The short answer to your question is quite a lot, but not as much as you think. There'll be things that will be markedly different because what you've essentially done, or what most of your ship has done, I believe it's all but one of you has, and even he's kind of done this as well to a different degree. You've essentially bio-relocated yourselves across dimensional fields. So
Thralk's eyes glaze at that just a little bit.
Right. Okay, let me try that again. You are you, and the you that was here is still you at a core. But there is going to be distinct differences. But you would ultimately still be, from what I've seen of your data, it seems that your ship has shifted a lot smaller than I thought you would. But given that you interacted with some sort of strange energy or cloning technology, I believe it was, it's very likely that you may have done something. How familiar are you with the Andon's Landing colony?
I can't say I'm incredibly familiar.
Okay. So the short story to that is that they were an Andorian colony that they got situated a long time ago. I'll save you the backstory on that. But the short end of it is that they encountered what they designated as a reality gate. And in the field of parapsychology and psionics, there are items that mess or manipulate reality in gross and discrete ways. The orbs of the prophets, the chalice of enlightenment, the 5 stars of Beta Z, and so on. There's various items that have various influence. But when you do that, psionics, although it acts in a way that may appear to be magical to a lot, it does still follow rules. There are still balance that causes and effects, balances and rebalances, reactions and actions. Likewise, when you shift a whole universe, essentially, to a different line, you also are going to cost something along the way. The fact that you haven't put yourself into a mirrorverse hellscape is a testament either to the willpower of your ensign or the sophistication of the item he used to shift.
Right. Well, that's good to know. My main goal, though, was just to determine, well, how many people knew the universe as we knew it, as opposed to, well, this one. As there does seem to be some reach, but...
To our estimations, we're still looking at there seem to be several members of the Watch who of the change, and we're trying to document. Sorry, I'm trying not to get into the weeds on you here. I know I'm going to lose you if I'm not insulting your intelligence. You just don't. This isn't. I'm not a tactician anymore, so I don't know the things you do. You don't know psionics like I do. Think of it like a viral infection, right? Where there's one person, patient 0, and then it spreads out from the person. Except instead of an illness, we're determining a radius of knowledge of a certain reality. And apparently, from what we understand, it bloomed out from a single person, which we know who that is. It's Ven. And it bloomed out from him. Now, how far that reached out, we're not entirely sure. We know it's not the entirety of the beta and alpha quadrants, because then everyone would know what would happen. I would know. So a significant and it's not necessarily geographic or astrographic. It's connection to the orbs that you had. So my understanding is there's some people in the exact number I couldn't really give you because we're still estimating, but I would say upwards of 1,000 people are aware. I'd be surprised if it was more than 1 million. But I wouldn't discount it, just because we're talking about astronomical scale and the spread of a vector of knowledge that is the knowledge of a previous reality.
Right.
And I don't have a baseline to go off of other than what your ship has told us.
Well,
so I'm trying to solve a puzzle through a keyhole. It's doable, but it's time consuming.
Right. Well, thank you for your time, Captain. That answers, I think, most of what my questions were.
All right. Well, glad to be of help.
I'll sign off.
Achilles to Commander Thralic. Achilles to
This is-
Commander Thralic. Your presence is
This is
being
Commander
requested on
Thralic.
the station. On the ship, sorry. Staff meeting
On
in
my
10.
way.
Can someone fix the sync on this thing? We're talking out of... Sorry, Commander. Subspace issue. You got our last, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you hear some muttering among the communications officers until eventually they cut the line. Apparently they've been having issues.
All right.
And then cut to a certain conference room. Wrong conference room. I was supposed to take you to the station one. There it is. Boop. Wow, these are all out of date.
Oh, I've just realised one of my traits is gone.
Oh.
Well, considering I wasn't raised in Andoria, I'm certainly not the head of a fucking clan.
Yeah, probably not.
You're welcome. So you all gather in the conference room, the briefing room aboard the Achilles, and you are joined by one Commander Vangmore. Or La Vangmore, if you want to use the Klingon for his title. And there should be one other person here, and that would be Shishishrir, head of Khan. There she is.
Just astutely not looking at the Klingon at all.
Vangmore is a loud and one might say gregarious, another may say obnoxious. Laughing frequently and chatting each of you up. But once Captain Penn, everyone's assembled and you're all kind of sitting a bit more like it's obvious you're getting ready for the briefing. He kind of sits a little straighter and nods at Penn, as if allowing him to take his own briefing.
I'll sit down and bring the meeting to an open. So, we are to escort La Vangmore to Greffel Station to see what its current operational status is and if there are any occupants, and report back to the Rear Admiral Grennan before we proceed with either reclaiming, or basically just trying to see what we're going to do with the station. As for methods, unknown yet, as would have to get a bit closer, but it'd be a nice way to see how things are working out in the Shackleton at the moment. Is there anything you'd like to say about the mission, Lavangmore?
I'll reiterate to all of you, as I did to Captain Penn, this location is, if it's in the hands of any Klingons, they have not lawfully, they are not yet lawfully recognized by the Empire or the KDF. My presence is to verify any such things or to report any criminals in the area and to represent the Empire's interests. If these are not Klingon conquered, I mean, Klingon loyal citizens or Klingons themselves, which is the same thing, I guess, then that I'm willing to cater to your Federation methodologies.
Any questions?
The important thing. Oh, sorry, Captain.
No, I was just seeing if any of the senior staff have any questions about the general mission.
What do you know about Grethor or station in size, capabilities, his occupation?
The station is and he brings it up. He brings up a on your computers. This is a. Oh, the GM lost the sheet. There it is. This station was Grethor Station was assigned as a sort of research outpost officially by the House, the now discommoddated House of Button-Up. But it served other requirements. It had its main goals were its obvious goal was research into mining, which is a very common cover, was a very common cover of House Button-On. But instead, it was more of a raiding staging ground and subspace telescope platform. It is built into a rogue asteroid that's in deep space. So there are no nearby stars or inhabited planets that we're aware of. It has enough housing to have anywhere between 100 to 900 persons. Any more than that, they would have to have added modules or used starships to extend their berthing. It is as for types as console as pad for a bit. It is only as large as a Fortune class or a expedition, an expedition sovereign class. According to Federation measurement, I believe that's scale 6. Most of its armor, as it were, is built into the asteroid itself. Oh.
See.
As for weaponry, it was equipped with a set of disruptor banks and photon torpedoes. However, those may have changed in the last 5 years, although I can't imagine it being changed too drastically, unless some larger powers supporting them. But that's just it. It depends on who is actually in control. If these are honorless targs still holding the station in defiance of the Empire, then they would not have had a chance to reach out and get massive overhauls. If some other power has moved in, then maybe they've changed things. The only thing I'll say that will be easy for conquering, conquering, I'll use the word, you all know what we do, but if we need to seize the station, it is of a rather outdated design, since this was built during our wars before the Kittimer Accord. So it is a very station whose purpose was not to win a battle or defend itself, but to hide away and assist with larger which, if we're able to get it, we'll be able to situate it as a space relay station, or even a channeling station, a nexus point, as well as a sort of forward outpost.
But that all depends on who or what or if nothing is there.
Well, the station is Klingon property. The fact that criminals abandon it and betray the Empire is of little consequence for the Empire. I know you might have some Federation entanglements you need to wrangle, but...
No, it was more of a case of if there are occupants and decide that they don't wish to go quietly, there's always a self-destruct button.
Yes. We absolutely cannot allow such an asset to...
So that's why we need to get there, get some information, and then devise the appropriate way to advance forward.
Is this place perhaps a Romulan facility? And he looks straight at Ryle, rather rudely. Almost like he's accusing you of knowing.
He's just looking off somewhere, like this direction-ish.
La, I appreciate your tendency to want to try and pick a fight. I'd ask you to keep it to yourself and don't try anything with members of my crew. Understood?
Don't worry, I'll never start anything.
He's one of these.
That's what all of Banan are.
Good. I'd very much hate for you to start something that I would have to finish.
Don't worry, if things go wrong, I'll fix it.
For now, we'll call that an end for the meeting. If the senior staff could hang around, there's something I wish to discuss about a previous operation.
Aye, Captain.
Aye, sir.
Yes, sir.
Bangmore stares at Rala for a bit longer, and he kind of tilts his head. Then you can detect that he seems to have realized something. And he seems quite pleased with whatever it was he discovered. And then he kind of blinks, looks at Penn. Oh, that doesn't include me, right? Captain Penn? Rest of you? I'm just kidding. Slaps Ven on the shoulder and then goes off to the turbolift.
Captain, before we start in, that Klingon there, he got something out of that. As in, he discovered something during this meeting that he wasn't expecting to find, and he's happy that he found.
He's slowly gonna look at and kind of glare at Ven.
That's something we can elaborate on later on, or as we're en route to the mission area.
Right.
I'm sure we're going to be finding out a lot of things that we're not big fans of, or that people have information on us, or different views. Such as when I looked up my own record aboard the station, I'm a completely different person.
Yeah, I suppose I should familiarize myself with mine as well.
Yes,
We all should once we're able to.
That's what I'm going to ask you to do for yourselves and to get your departments to do. Because I also need to look further into mine to see if I was a member of Section 31. Because I'm not liking the fact that I'm now a Boy Scout.
I'm sorry?
Maybe that's why everything's different here. We all changed. I just think ruefully to myself.
I do not follow, Captain. What do you see as the disconnect between yourself and your past?
Well, the me that I am
Mm-hmm.
was raised in Andoria through Section 31 into a Starfleet officer. So far from the record of this one, that never happened. I never led within Tiger Squadron. I only recently got command of a ship. This reality's penned was overall a very nice and passive person. Fuck you, Commander. Stop laughing.
Yes, sir.
Also, something for yourself, which I'll speak to very quickly in my ready room about. It concerns someone we both know.
Right.
But yes, I'd like you all to go over your own individual files and get the rest of your departments to go over it so we can have an idea of how we're viewed or how we need to deal with relatives and the such. Understood?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Captain.
Okay, everyone, go about your duty. Commander, can you meet me in the ready room?
How far away is the station? How long do we have?
I was wondering when someone was going to ask that. 1 second.
I'm sorry, there was a lot of information thrown out, and I didn't realize that, but I don't think we ever talked about how far away it was.
No, no one asked.
I was just gonna go. We
Oh,
get
we were
there
all
when
a
we get
little
there.
busy.
1 second. 9.97. So that puts you around here. Roughly 24 hours. Assuming nothing goes wrong between here and there.
Okay.
I could probably shave that down to 18.
If you're shaving down to 18, you're starting to approach the. You better have a QSD installed.
Or a really good engineer who wants to distract himself.
I don't
That
think you
sounds
get
like a
the go ahead.
really bad combination. That sounds
how
like a
people
really
Correct.
bad combination.
Well, there was this whole spore drive thing you heard about once. Nah, that's
No.
That's silly.
That would never work.
how could you use mushrooms to power a warp core? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we in the sophisticated age of science, we use rocks to power our warp core.
I mean, to be fair, if you take enough mushrooms, you can think about doing anything.
So who's
Okay.
attend? Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just going to say, Arlen, if you need anything, let me know. And that extends to all of you. This has been a trying time for all of us, and asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength.
Of course, Commander.
Who goes where?
On their way out, Ben is gonna try and pull Rylov aside.
Oh, great.
Do you let him?
I mean, I'm assuming he's just going to, like, get in the elevator next to the turbo lift and be like, "Hi, you can't go anywhere now." It's probably how Ben's doing that, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
turbo lift
Yeah.
conversation.
I voted against you becoming an ensign.
Yep.
Uh,
Sir,
Vengeance.
sir, I have something that I think you should be made aware of, and that apparently you were aware of in the previous timeline. Apparently, back on Earth, there's an ongoing investigation into the disappearance of my parents, which I didn't know about until today.
Is this one of these consequences of the alterations, Anson?
Yeah. I got in touch with a member of Starfleet Security who said that he would be forwarding developments in the case to the security officer on the Achilles in case anything came up. It was there's a bit more to it than just it being a disappearance. It's all tied into a really nasty set of political upheavals and, well, frankly, a coup attempt that occurred on Earth back during the Dominion War. You probably big enough deal that you probably heard about it.
Oh yes, I was very well aware.
So
At that time period, Romulus,
Hmm?
the Roman Empire was allied with, so they would have been. Well, they would have heard about it.
They've heard about it, and they're probably being like, "Damn, we couldn't pull that off."
we could have done that shit.
That would never happen to us. Oh, hi,
Hmm.
hi, Shinzan. How are you?
Yeah, we almost did it to the Vulcans,
So,
though.
yeah. Point
Yeah.
being, Ben
What do you
is
think
like,
Shizan
so,
learned
yeah. Apparently, my parents went missing during that whole thing. So, they think they're still alive, but the trail went cold a while ago.
I believe that is what, 6 years ago. Maybe more than that, actually.
It's been a while. It's been a long road getting from there to here.
As far as I am aware, there is a specific Starfleet task force for missing persons.
Yes. This is a bit more than just a missing persons case, though. This apparently ties into some of the major Starfleet investigations into, well, the events of those days back on Earth. The whole conspiracy. You know?
I am aware of the events. I do not know specifics.
No, right. Just. Point being, it's more than just a missing persons case to Starfleet intelligence and security.
Very well. Is there a particular reason that I am needing to be informed of this?
I presume that it's because it's delicate Starfleet security documents that need to be properly vetted before they enter my possession. At least that's my best guess.
Very well, Ensign. When I get, or if I get, such information, I'll be sure to let you know. Are they of the same last name?
Thank you. I now have to go brief my department.
That was a question.
Oh, that's a new one. And he steps off the turbo lift.
Ben, are you willfully ignoring Rah's question? I just wanted to make sure you were.
I'm sorry, I
hearing.
missed the question.
He even said that was a question. I just continued.
He asked if they had the same last name, and then talking over him.
Oh.
Discord screwed you there, I think.
That's funny.
Okay. Same last name as like Ven, the last name Ven. Yeah.
Yes. Very well. That makes things somewhat simpler.
Yeah. He'll be sending the files along shortly. Till then, though, I have to brief my department. Oh God, I have a department now. Oh Lord.
Had a department
And
for a
he
while.
steps off the turbo lift.
Carry on, Ensign.
Anyone else moving in the briefing room?
Yeah, I would like to talk to the captain, but Frolic has a personal meeting first, so I will wait outside his door.
Okay.
I'm going to engineering.
Off to engineering you go. Off to security Ryloff goes, I presume.
Likely, yeah.
Pendant Frolic.
Captain.
Frolic, you owe me a roll here in a second.
Oh, okay.
Should I?
Before the captain even starts speaking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, this roll's gonna suck for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this timeline, Captain Penn's like put traps inside of his rum.
In this timeline, I'm pretty sure Penn was baking people fucking cookies.
But only if you survived the gauntlet of the 20 feet between the door and the desk.
Right.
Sorry, just doing some calculations here. Give me a moment. You find yourself assailed with a cavalcade of light and sound, and as your ESP kind of just floods your vision for a moment, and it's almost like you're deafened, and it's just a matter of trying to see through it and either shut it off or figure out what the heck is going on.
Huh.
Fitness command, difficulty 5.
All right. I really need to get a focus for this.
Welcome to the life of Varder for a while.
Yeah. Um. huh. Nope. All of my focuses help other people do these kinds of things.
Tragic.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm here for it, but let's see. ESP, I believe, is making this happen. Trait calm in the storm.
I'll take that.
Right.
But don't worry, I'll adjust.
Fuck.
You did spend most of his threat right now.
Yeah.
I would have done it to Ven as well, but I didn't have enough threat to make it more person.
Fair enough.
How much more threat do you need?
Times double what I spent.
Oh.
I'd need that again to do it.
Damn.
Focus. I'll try throwing a couple of these focuses. Focus and guidance.
Add complication increase because
Yeah,
you're
sure.
self-guiding.
Yeah. I'm better at helping someone else through this somehow, but kind of do it for myself. Nope, that's a directing thing. That's a directing thing. This thing. Yeah, I think none of my talents work here, which is always fun.
You're
Like
welcome.
I love being in situations where it's just like your character's not built for this. Like, you have to scrounge stuff.
I try.
value of Dare to Walk on the Thin Ice?
I'll take it.
All right. And then I will I'll buy up to 4 dice. I'll spend 2 momentum and 3 threat. Wow.
Can I see Thralic suffering this incident?
By the time you would see it happening, it'd be too late.
Or just for the sake of like
Well,
give them my determination?
Unfortunately not, because you don't know what's happened.
Okay.
You don't
or
even know
not enough communication. I'll expend my milestone from Remember, which has Psychic as a tag.
I'll take it.
And I will re-roll those 3. All right. I made it.
I will say that Ven doesn't need to do a roll, but Ven felt distinct feeling of hearing something shout very, very loud on a telepathic level. But it's almost like you're hearing a loud explosion like 200 yards away. So you're feeling like the aftershock of something going off and just kind of thudding into you a little bit.
Sort of
But you
looks
do know it
around.
isn't. Huh?
He just sort of looks around. And then
the
just,
feeling just kind of fades off as soon as it came.
looks really confused.
Meanwhile, Thralic, you see a set of doors carved in ice, where a blinding, searing light pierces the join. And then the vision fades.
Uh-huh.
There's a variety of other images as well, which related to that, but there's one clear image that just popped right out. That was kind of almost being, it was the background upon which all the other images and sounds were superimposed on.
Got it. Would you say that door may have been like burning ice? Just out of curiosity. Asking for a friend.
For momentum, I'll answer.
Ooh, a momentum. Sure.
The wall, to your mind, almost appeared to be as if like the wall of heroes on your homeworld, the place where blood of the fallen is thrown, so they're eternally remembered. And it looked like but there's no join there. It's just a place it's a memorial. There's more to it than that, but in essence, that's what it is. But this seemed to have a door large enough to allow a starship to fly through, if the doors were to open. But it looked like a massive archway or gate, a massive wall.
Okay.
And the light seemed to be. It reminded you of your home star, that light.
Fascinating.
From Pen's point of view, Thrall kind of stops and kind of starts blinking, and you can see her antenna kind of twisting a little bit in confusion.
Commander?
Captain? Sorry, you wanted to see me?
Are you okay? Seem a bit distracted.
kind of rub her forehead for a second. Say, Uh, yeah, a little bit. I think I'm all right though.
Okay, well, if something's going on, let me know and I'll help how I can.
I honestly have no idea, so I'll let you know when I have more information.
Very well. When I was looking up my files earlier, I did happen to look into what happened to Canalvaro. And
Arms like immediately cross. It doesn't even seem conscious.
and instead of it being sealed how it was in our universe, it seems more heavily so. So things may be different regarding him.
All right, I won't challenge Grennan to any honor duels.
But when looking up your own past, or here past, you may come up with some different results. Just know that's maybe an avenue you can look into.
All right. Right. I'll need to look into family here as well.
I
Haven't
wanted,
done that yet.
I wanted to personally let you know that that was something that could come up and not be blindsided by it.
I appreciate it, sir.
But yeah, like I said, there's nothing else. I just wanted to make sure you're ready for that, and hopefully you'll find not too much has changed, unlike me.
Well, I'll begin looking into my files. Command give us access to those?
Yes, we've got access. We've been vetted. We have access now.
All right.
If something's still locked, let me know and I'll see what I can do.
Right. And orders for the ship we went over. Civilian contingent. Do you want me to pass along suggestions for that as well, sir?
Please do. I realise we may have someone on board trying to get us there faster. Maybe let's not do that and give people time to adjust to what they find.
I'll speak with Harlan.
We
You both. I'll note the both of you would. The two of you would be aware that Yolan has transferred himself off the ship.
See if we can find him something else to play with and to keep himself occupied.
Yes, sir.
But for now,
Find a project that doesn't have to do with making us go faster.
temporarily, yes, that'd be very nice. I mean, you could get out some paper and a pen and get him playing tic-tac-toe if you wish, but
That seems like a waste, sir.
but for now, dismissed. Let me know if something comes up that needs further attention.
Aye, Captain. Up and head out and Asa, as Frolics exit, you can see she looks concerned and she didn't quite notice you. She didn't have time to wipe that expression off her face.
Asa's going to like look at the door, look at the relic, look at the door, look back, and say, is everything okay?
Yes, Commander.
Okay. I'm here if you need me. And she'll step into the room.
Pen's looking down at his console.
It explodes, spending 9. No, just kidding.
Do it, you coward.
I don't respond to provocations.
His leg
Unless it's
explodes off
amusing.
the console.
You'll be putting me out of my misery.
You see, Asa walks in and And she like looks noticeably like I don't know. She has a concerned face going on, the face she has when she's worried about someone. And considering her job and the people she's surrounded with on her crew, she makes this face a lot. And she's going to consider sitting down, but she's going to stand. And she's going to open with Captain. Normally, I wouldn't want to talk about the details of a patient's case, but I am concerned at how their performance, or I'm concerned at how someone's well-being might affect the safety and stability of the crew, considering the importance of the upcoming mission.
Can you reveal who this person may be?
Arlen, so apparently Arlen and his husband had a fight recently and are broken up or are temporarily separated. It's complicated, yada yada. I am concerned that his performance as chief engineer will suffer because of that. And considering how important his position is, I worry if that's jeopardizing the ship as a whole.
You'll have to forgive how I phrase it. It's not in an insulting way to the situation. Do you think his mental capacity is where it should be for the mission?
I don't. Oh. I don't know, Captain. The problem is he puts himself into his work when he is stressed, and I'm just concerned that he will overexert himself or be more careless than he should, given where his mind is at. I don't know if we should take action immediately. I wanted to bring this up because I'm concerned. And where am I going with this?
You worry about his well-being, considering what we've all been through.
I'm frankly, I'm concerned for the entire crew's well-being, but some people are better at handling their symptoms than others. For right now, I think we will be okay just monitoring him, but if things get worse.
Well, the three options I see with the situation you just put in front of me is one, relieved of duty and mandatory counselling until you deem he's fully fit for duty. The second is reduced duty and mandatory counselling until you give me the go ahead for full. Or we continue how things are going. And again with counselling. Which one do you think... Which one would you prefer? Against which one do you think is needed?
I would prefer him. He is the best engineer on the ship. I would prefer him to be working as much as he is comfortable with. However, as of right now, I would probably recommend he be put on reduced duty until he is back to his baseline.
And that is your medical opinion on the situation?
Actually, let's pause on that. GM, can I make a medical roll to can I make a roll to determine what my physician opinion is?
Reason or medicine difficulty
Not quite what my opinion
2.
is, but what the risks are of him, like how concerned I should be. Okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't trying to like talk you one way or another. That's why I was like, on a scale of the 3 different things, like where do you think we should be?
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because I had concerns. I didn't have an answer. That's why I wanted to ask it to another character. Insight, medicine, focus in psychiatry,
Yeah.
1 threat.
So the most complicating factor in the patient's file is that he is his death phobia for Yolan. Without the trigger present, that's not going to come up. I would, and Arlen can feel free to correct me on the player for Arlen can correct me about the character of Arlen. I think this is almost an expression of a combination of limit pusher, lateral thinker, and reckless. Kind of combining to kind of attempt to deal with or cope with his situation.
Yeah, that's accurate. He is trying to fix an emotional problem in mechanical means because that is how he typically he fixes things. So he's laterally thinking a way around the emotional issue and just let's build a suit to make things better, or let's increase engine efficiency by 5%.
So, and on top of that, he has a medicine of 1, so his character is not very well beyond basic first aid and basic, like, if he feels exceptionally stressed, he might go, oh, I should do something about that. What precisely he should do, he doesn't know, but he knows he should do something about it. Hence why he went to a counselor.
Very little medical awareness for himself.
Like the bare minimum the academy would require you to know, which is what 1 point is, because some people have 0. Like the regular person might have 0. So there's a couple of things you can do. One is you can leave it be, and the trauma stays. Of the traits he has, reckless is actually a negative trait he picked up. That might go away on its own. It might not. In character, that's what that would mean. Like, his recklessness may be something that's part of him forever, or he will slowly kind of work it out of his system and be done with it. Mechanically speaking, the player can buy it off and make it go away. But that depends on a claim and such. If you were to put this person on, if you literally duty, you put them on medical leave for an episode, that would be an automatic success for their trauma, because it would go down automatically by 1, because it would be presumed that he's doing stuff to deal with it, without necessarily Asa, but like the entirety of the medical department and his own personal care. Then he would just deal with it. If he's on partial duty, that means at some point you would want to have a scene with him. Go, I need to pull you aside for a scene, and I need to talk to this character. Or if not Asa do it, then the counselor support character has to pull him away from something, and he's basically locked into that. In the narrative, he's locked into that meeting for a little bit until he's free of that meeting. So the answer to the question is that he is not. He has the disorder in the sense of the trauma, but he isn't debilitated. He isn't. He can still serve. But the trauma is something that he probably wants to deal with sooner rather than later, especially if he wants to not lose the married trait. Because that's an ongoing. That's kind of why the married trait. That's kind of why that went sideways so badly, was because the trauma basically wrecked the entire conversation for him. So it won't affect his professional life, but it will affect his personal life quite severely.
And I will say, as far as like risk to self or anything, he's not going to do anything in like to harm himself or others, at least not intentionally. But he may do some crazy builds and stuff to throw himself at his work, even if it's unsanctioned overclocking of systems, just to give him something to do.
The reckless trait kicking in there.
Reckless trait,
All right,
yeah.
all right. So there's my recommendation. My thought right now is to keep Arlen in duty. Request that he continue counseling. Excuse me. Request that he continue to meet with me or another counselor and continue to seek counseling for his mental health, and to have Ace do some monitoring of him to make sure that he doesn't go too far, because I mean, like, I don't want to take him off duty, but if I catch him like pulling a 16-hour shift because he, work is how he copes, I want to be able to stop him from doing that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So are
right.
you recommending like normal duty or reduced?
I will recommend normal duty for Arlen. However, I will keep an eye on him and do my best to make sure that he does not overexert himself or do anything reckless to the ship's engineering systems.
Well, I've already instructed the commander to tell Lieutenant Allen that he's not to mess with the engines.
That's good.
That's a preemptive measure as well. For now, I fully accept your recommendation. The only thing I would point out is I've not been in his exact position. I've been in a similar-ish where to get through something you run at 110% for too long, and the results can be negative. If it is required for him to pull back for a period of time, not fully but just to pull back, then just do it immediately. Just don't have to inform me. I'd rather him be actually able to function as a humanoid being than a puddle on the ground.
The liquid-based life forms of your ship will take offense to that.
That's not my problem.
Kind of
That-
is.
That makes
It's
sense.
my problem.
Captain, if you want to reach out to him and see if you can connect, it's not a clinical opinion, but as a personal opinion, that might be a valid path forward. And if you ever need to talk about anything, I'm here. I have a great deal of concern, as I said before, for the whole crew. And yes, putting 110% in for too long will kill you.
I'll reach out to the lieutenant, and as for myself, luckily I've dealt with that issue and I'm a relatively mental trap, so nothing really affects me much anymore.
That sounds.
Apart from the fact of I now need to somehow connect the fact that I'm now a completely different person in this reality.
Right. Yeah, that is a problem we'll all struggle with, but do not mean to lecture, but just don't let yourself fall into apathy as a way out of your emotions. It is important that you feel your emotions and not calcify yourself.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll be fine, but I appreciate your concern. I believe you're going to be extremely busy over the next 24 hours with unhappy people realising things are different.
Oh, there's a reason I haven't dug into my own past, Captain. I know that the needs of others come before mine.
Well, should I ask one of the counsellors to assess you to see if you need time off?
She's going to laugh, and she's going to say, what is that human writer who said it best? To thine own self be true. I am aware of my own limits and my own faculties, and I think I can handle what I'm doing right now.
I'll allow it for now. If there's anything else, Lieutenant Commander.
That would be all. Have a nice day, Captain.
Dismissed. I mean, shall I contact Alan as well?
And then, elsewhere on the ship, Commander Vangmore walks through a hallway. Looks at his pad, looks at the door, looks at the pad again. And the camera will linger on what he's holding in hand. And there displayed is a Klingon defense file regarding one Lieutenant Rylov.
Mm.
He then smiles. I might get to finish my mission after all. And that will be the end of the episode.